Good evening. I'm Drew Barron. I'm chairman of the Roanoke County School Board. I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. As many of you know, back in June of 2013, Dr. Lorraine Lang announced that she would retire after the end of the 2013-14 school year. I remember it like it was yesterday when the school board was deciding to make Dr. Lang our superintendent. That decision was easy for me. I thought about it for all of about 5 minutes. When Dr. Lang announced her retirement, I and the rest of the board knew that it'd be much more challenging to find her replacement. I'd like to take this moment again to thank Dr. Lang for the 4 decades of dedication and devotion to Roanoke County Public Schools and to wish her all the best. On August 18th of last year, the school board formally began the superintendent search process. With the assistance of the Virginia School Board Association, we conducted a nationwide search. We received 19 applications from many talented, diversified, and qualified candidates, both internal and external to the school system. I want to thank all those that applied for this position. The selection of the next superintendent for Roanoke County Public Schools is one of the most important and honestly one of the most difficult decisions I've ever made during my tenure on the school board. By almost any measurement, the state of our school system is strong and our future is even brighter. We are looking for the right person to build upon this foundation and someone who fits the values that we hold dearly in Roanoke County. I also want to take this moment to thank our staff and citizens who provided input during this search process. Your feedback was helpful to us in deciding the qualities that we were looking for to fill this critical position. Today, about 5 months after we started this search, we have found and are ready to announce the next superintendent of Roanoke County Public Schools. Dr. Greg Killough is no stranger to Southwest Virginia. A native of Blacksburg, and a graduate of Virginia Tech, George Washington University, and the University of Virginia, he comes to us from Caroline County Public Schools, where he currently is serving as superintendent since July of 2008. During this time in Caroline, Dr. Killough has been very active in the local community. He has served as superintendent of Wise County Public Schools from 2005 to 2008. Dr. Killough has served in many capacities in Virginia education, from teacher and coach in Warrington and Virginia Beach, assistant principal in assistant principal, I don't have my reading glasses on, assistant principal at Virginia Beach High school principal in Campbell County, supervisor of regional adult education programs in the counties of Amherst, Appomattox, Bedford, Campbell, Lynchburg City Schools, an assistant superintendent of instruction in Franklin County, and an adjunct professor from Ferrum College and the University of Virginia. Education is a family business for Dr. Killough. In fact, his dad is familiar to me. He was an accounting professor at Virginia Tech while I was in the accounting program from 1977 to 81. Welcome you this evening. It's been a while. How time flies. Over the next few months, Dr. Killough and Dr. Lang will be working together to ensure a successful transition when Dr. Lang officially retires at the end of June. Members of the board, I as chairman, will move the recommendation to hire Dr. Greg Killough as the new superintendent of Roanoke County Public Schools beginning July 1st, 2015. Is there a second to my motion?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Mr. Weimer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman has quite eloquently laid out the process that brings us to this meeting this evening, but it also begins a new beginning for Roanoke County Schools. Dr. Lang has served in many, many capacities at a very, very extremely high level as a teacher and administrator, as an assistant superintendent, and as our superintendent. She brings to Roanoke County and has brought to Roanoke County a wealth of information, knowledge, not only in her chosen field, but also working within the community to not only move forward things within the community, but to make the schools a part of, and the community a part of our schools. We're very, very thankful to you, Lorraine, for that. Dr. Killough, as Mr. Barano pointed out, is not a stranger to this region, and I think that that has something that will serve him well. He knows Roanoke County. He knows the expectations that we have in Roanoke County. He knows the hardworking staff that we have in Roanoke County. He knows that the community in Roanoke County will embrace leaders who will move Roanoke County schools continually forward. And it's to that end that I am glad to say that I am ready to cast the ballot for Dr. Killough.
Mr. Moonves?
Dr. Killough, welcome. And Dr. Lang, thank you so much. Dr. Killough will be coming with the best teachers and the best staff, not only in Southwest Virginia, in all of Virginia. Despite funds being reduced and things that would tear our school system down, they continued to perform in a way that makes us so very proud of them. They've done an excellent job, and Dr. Killough, you'll have an excellent staff. Dr. Lang, as you go, we will think of you often, and maybe you'll think of us once in a while.
Not during a snow day.
But we, again, are so very grateful for the contribution that you have made to Roanoke County schools. And Dr. Killough, just keep up the good work.
Mr. Canada?
Dr. Killough, most of these people in this room tonight are your principals and assistant principals, and I tell you, it's a great-looking group, don't you think?
Yes.
It is. You know, you're joining an elite group. You will be only the second superintendent that did not come through the ranks in Roanoke County. So I think that says a lot for you to come in and be our next superintendent. So having said that, I had to read some prepared remarks because there were some things I wanted to say and I didn't want to leave them out. But close to a decade ago, I swore to myself that if I was ever given the chance again, and this is my fourth time around choosing a superintendent, that I would never ever vote for an external candidate. Now, after months of discussions, interviews, and prayerful consideration, I find myself in the position to once again cast my vote for an external candidate. As a single vote on the board, I expect of any potential new school leader to, 1, exceed the qualifications as defined by the Department of Education to be a public school superintendent, 2, to love, appreciate, and care for students and employees, and 3, to know that he or she will never, ever achieve perfection, but will still strive to achieve it, and 4, to treat students, employees, and constituents as they would themselves want to be treated. Replacing a school superintendent like Dr. Lorraine Lang, who probably easily is our most popular superintendent who has ever served in Roanoke County, and who is dearly loved by our employees and community, will be no small task. However, among the 19 applicants that applied for this position, I believe that Dr. Gregory Killough best meets my personal requirements for our next superintendent, as well as the many employees and citizens who completed the surveys. So I ask our students, employees, and citizens to accept Dr. Killough and his lovely wife, Kathy, with open arms into our community. As great as I truly believe we are now, I believe our best days in the years ahead will be our best years. Thank you very much.
Mr. Elitizer?
You know, these are great announcements when you talk about leadership, a change in leadership. And so what requires me to do first is, Dr. Lang, just to thank you. You have been a pillar from the bottom to the top in Roanoke County schools. and you will have left your mark on many, many students and many, many employees in Roanoke County. So I wholeheartedly want to thank you for everything that you've done over these years. You know, one of the strongest elements I was looking for in a candidate, and I've had some people call me at home, see me in the grocery store and stuff, and you know, we would talk, and you know, people would ask about how many candidates did you have, and a lot of people would say, man, I bet you had 30, I bet you had 40. No, we only had 19. And perceptually, in a lot of people's minds, they thought 19 was not a good number. What I can say and what I want to say to our internal candidates that applied and to the other candidates we applied, in my view, and the strongest asset that I was looking for is someone was very, very confident, because it is easy to come in and fix something that's broke. But to come in and take a school system with the graduation rate that we have and all the fine qualities of what the assets to Roanoke County Schools has done, and let me explain assets. Roanoke County Schools has added on to buildings and taken care and renovated, built new schools and everything. But as I stood at this podium and said about 3 months ago when I was appointed, and I will say to Dr. Killough, let us never forget that the strongest asset we have is the people and the staff that work for Roanoke County Schools, and everything that you've done to put Roanoke County Schools where it is. And Dr. Killough, you rose to a high level, in my opinion, to meet the confidence that not only can maintain, but can also move the needle forward and continue to improve. And I just want to thank you. I appreciate everything that you've done and the time that you've spent with us. I welcome you and your family, and I know you're going to do the expectations that I had set for you as a candidate. So congratulations to you.
Having had a motion and a second, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Althauser?
Yes.
Mr. Canada?
Yes.
Mr. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Wilder?
Yes.
Mr. Behrman?
Yes, it's my high honor to welcome you, Dr. Killough, and to introduce you to the Roanoke County Public Schools. Please take the
I want to first of all say I'm honored, truly honored to be selected as the next superintendent of Roanoke County Public Schools. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. I look forward to working with the school board, working with all the staff, and building on the continued excellence that you have and continuing to build on that excellence that Dr. Lang has led. I've known Dr. Lang for a long time and have a great deal of respect for her. I have a great deal of respect for what you all have done and accomplished here in Roanoke County. My wife and I feel like we're coming home. This has been a special place to us over a number of years. We love this area. Growing up in Blacksburg, I always considered myself part of the Roanoke Valley. And whenever anybody asks where I'm from, I always say proudly, I am from the Roanoke Valley. I grew up in the Roanoke Valley. We consider this our home. We have many memories from this area when we lived in Campbell County, Franklin County, and we're just looking forward to being back. You know, it's really interesting. Somebody asked, well, what is your strongest tie to Roanoke County? Well, when I was at Tech and I decided that I wanted to go into education, I'd been working at a Christian church camp, and I came back and I met my wife and we were dating and saw that she was in education. I said, well, maybe I want to be an educator, you know. So she had a little bit of persuasion on that. So I began to pursue that at Tech. In my senior year, I had the privilege of student teaching at Glenver High School. And I loved the school, loved the community. I've always loved the community. My girls have competed in Glenver and Cave Springs and all in the areas during my years. And I plan to work hard with you, to collaborate with you, to continue the great leadership, and to work hard with this school board. And again, I am honored to be your next superintendent. Thank you.